It does. I don't use all the functions and I don't edit, but I love watching DIY trips. I don't know what you want to do in your rest of your life, but if I had some money, I'd go places.
I'm going.
Yeah.
Well, it's called either the bucket list or the fuck it list.
Right.
Growing up in Key West, we were relatively poor.
Right.
And the one thing my father always had was National Geographic.
Yeah.
And never threw one away.
No.
And I was able to see the world
Sure.
through that.
Sure.
And
I noticed you looked up to the people that could travel to do that, photographers.
no, I didn't look up to. I aspired to do it.
Right.
I didn't look up because whatever they got there somehow, some way.
Yeah, and you wanted to figure it out.
So I had to figure out, if I want that, how am I going to do this to get that?
Uh-huh.
So my inspiration was them going and enjoying it, and said, I will need to do that.
Right.
So the fuck it list.
Mm-hmm.
And then 3 years ago, April 27th, I retired.
Right.
And my wife 6 weeks before me retired.
Right.
And
Now you got.
that November, we were both in an accident.
Uh-huh.
And I had 2 back surgeries last year and 1 the year before that.
Yeah.
So I had just started getting back to this
Yeah.
fishing. And then this happened, and I was sidelined.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
now I'm back.
Okay. So let's go over. I'm interviewing Richard Weintraub, who's come to me because I guess, when did you subscribe to my site?
Just.
You just did. So you subscribed to my site, and I said, I realize that the site has great content now, but what it's missing is I'm not able in any of those videos to share all that knowledge that goes behind what I do. And that's very hard to do sitting there by myself in a video, because I've tried it with a few fishing reports. And they're very kind of boring because I'm only speculating what's going to happen next. I can't really tell you. But I can tell you how to get to where I got, because I can look back over those 5 years of videos and say, wow, there's quite a pattern here.
Progression.
Mm-hmm. And so that's what I'm going to share with you. And I presume that's one reason you came to me, was maybe I could learn some of what he does.
I want more than some.
Well, I've got it all laid out because I think the timing is just right. So, let's get back to your history. I got you down, so you got quite a background, except similar to me. So what did you end up with occupation-wise?
The occupation was strictly by accident.
Really?
I fell into that when I realized I couldn't do what I wanted to do, and it was a financial thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, I was in college, and I had a scholarship. I had an accident, and back in those days, you finished the semester, you were done. You couldn't continue because you couldn't use your scholarship. I was athletic.
Uh-huh.
So I floundered. I accidentally fell into something called hairdressing.
Ah.
Which is a strange thing to say.
No,
I
it's
fell
a good
into.
occupation, actually.
Well,
I see it later in life.
Yeah, no, I fell into it, and the timing
Was great.
more than great, because when I found my first mentor, who's a world-renowned person, at the time wasn't world-renowned, became world-renowned. He took me under his wing, and I just listened to every word, and I knows that it took 10 years or 10,000 hours to be an expert at anything, and I forced myself to do 10,000 hours in 10 years under 5.
Wow.
And I just put my nose down and I worked.
And what locale were you in?
I was in Sarasota from University of Florida. My accident was in Gainesville. I came here.
You came here?
And
I lived here a long time too, so when did you come to
71,
Sarasota?
72.
Oh, we have that in common, that I came in 75.
Yeah.
You know, when I came from Miami, you came from Key West.
I know Miami well.
And you know, first drove up in a shitty car, you know, but you know, I sure loved growing up in Miami. Things were happening.
I know Miami well.
Yeah.
Good and bad.
Good and bad. Probably remember them saying there's some guy, Jimmy Buffett, playing down at the coffee shop. You got to go down there.
If you'd let me know, I'll show you original photographs of Jimmy on my phone.
I bet.
Right here.
In the day.
In the day.
In the day.
Played at the Gulf Coast Lounge on Flagler Avenue.
Yeah. So we did a lot of fun things in those days. So that brings us to where we are today, and I want to open up by saying, it's a pretty deluxe experience to sit down with a guide one-on-one for an hour. I mean, you're on the boat, you know, and your guide's pushing you around. He's saying, do this, do that. You feel like, wow, if I don't do it right, he's going to pick on me or something.
I've had all that experience so far.
Yeah. Well, then again, back to the boat, and then what I do, they're so different. I've been a guide. I used to teach people on the boat, and I used to try to, and I did a number of fly trips. Let's look at my history there. I kind of patterned myself after Rick Grassett. We started about the same time. All my fly trips were at night. So I have a lot of history with, I caught all the fish, you know. And I've not only caught them, I've had my hands on them doing gyataku. Like this little piece here.
Well, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Flying fish.
Very beautiful way
I love how
to
you did that.
enjoy the fish. I just put it on a Lazy Susan. Enjoyed putting the epoxy over it. First I laminate it with acrylic and squeegee it out.
That's a talent.
It's ready to go after that.
That's a talent.
Show the audience. Older piece. So from my career in printing, which led to gyataku, and then being a charter boat
For the camera.
a lot of steps in life around fish were involved, and so getting back to my history, and you're picking my brain. I'm gonna share, skipping out a little bit. So we said that a lot of going on in the video is not seen to why it's all working for me. So you came to kind of pick my brain a little bit. We'll get back to that. So let's see I want to get your history, where you feel you're going. I know you can always go do something and don't exclude out an opportunity, like go fish for peacock bass. If you're going to fly fish for them, you better get some background, because you're going to the top of the top in your, what it is you're going to try to achieve. So you got to start somewhere. And for my face the camera, for my particular style, I don't have a large income, and I like, at my age, being home a lot. And now in Sarasota, it's a wonderful place to reside. So I decided during COVID time, it was a slow time, I wanted to fish more after retiring from the art career. And I could go to the flats and fish and be successful and catch a redfish and say, wow, that was easy, that was fun. But it was a little bit too easy and too fun, and I wanted to make it harder, or enjoy, and try to get more enjoyment out of it. So I started fly fishing, and if you go back to it, it's 5 years of videos now of catching at pretty much the same spots. So the whole catching all the species in the area at 2 or 3 locations, and not having to put much time involved or cost, and getting a lot of satisfaction out of it. So it's up to you. I looked at up and down, do I want to change what I'm doing? And if I got a kayak, even went to the next level of some sort of boat, and the time it would take to get the kayak ready, maneuver the kayak, and then finish up, would it be worth it when I got everything I wanted done, maybe in a half an hour? Maybe in a half an hour, and went home. So most of my trips are about an hour, I'll tell you that. We're not going to really fish too long unless we have a plan to try to sight fish. And in my videos, I can't tell you that I'm not sight fishing, because I'm putting all the skills together as an angler to catch these fish, and I'm just using a little extra knowledge to make it all work. So let me get some of your knowledge. On the whole, what would you say your experience is as an angler?
Experience as far as
One to 100.
um,
Quick answer.
I would say probably 45 or 50.
That's because of how much time you spent on the water?
Not much now.
Well,
Started
okay.
wading
Okay.
last year.
I want an honest answer. Because we're starting out here, we may interview a year from now and see where we're going.
I look forward to that.
Okay. And where on earth you've gone, you know what I mean? That's what interests me. I can always learn from you. Experience as a fly fisherman.
I would say probably
Lower than that, probably.
35%,
Okay,
40.
I'm gonna go down 35%. Okay. So that's one of our big interests, is fly fishing. Experience as a waiter.
Oh, minimal. Probably
Oh,
20.
now we're going down lower.
Yeah,
20%.
20, 25, yeah.
So these are the big areas we're gonna work on. Knowledge of this area.
I know Sarasota, and I've been following people from the Mangrove Coast,
Right.
but I've not fished with anybody.
So in for how long a duration have you done that? Follow
I've
these
probably
people.
been to Ringling now 7 or 8 times. I've been to
Okay.
Whitfield.
So, but over how long a period have been in the area? Now full time?
I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. Looking at fishing in Sarasota,
Yeah,
how long have you been in this area?
I've been here 54 years.
But, so how much experience do you have of the area?
Of this area, a lot.
But of the water?
For wading, fishing, not much. I used
Okay.
to rent a boat. I used to have a boat.
Okay, so would you say 20%?
Yeah, maybe.
You've been on a boat?
Yeah.
That many?
Yeah.
Enough to say of your 50 years here, 20% of the 50 years you've been on the
Yeah.
water? Okay. Fair enough. And then knowledge of the species we
I know
catch.
this speaks
So
75.
I'd say that goes up. Okay. So you got a good little bit. Now I know what I'm working with you, and we can see where we go with that. And we want to bring that up big time. So, I mean, social media is great for knowledge of the area. I mean, we can go see somebody caught one down here, and then we can go follow where he was and go catch one because he just caught one there yesterday. Or maybe that tells you those fish are running. I mean, put 2 and 2 together, obviously.
I'm hearing about spots now
Right.
that I've never been to. I didn't know that were there.
Right.
So I'm here, but I'm
You
not.
have to go there and experience it.
But I don't want to go by myself because a fellow from the club. Do you know Irwin?
Yeah.
You heard what happened to Irwin?
Yeah, I heard.
So at Craig, I just started fly tying with Craig on the Liars Club on Tuesday night.
Yeah,
Well,
that's great.
Irwin
Does Craig drink a lot of coffee?
was fishing and he got completely into the mud,
Yeah.
almost way up, and the only thing that saved him, he had a phone. He called 911. Just as Patrick, who was a guy from the club, happened to be walking along and found him stuck, and he's freaking out because he doesn't know if anyone's ever going to find him.
Yeah, panicking
And he-
almost.
So they cut him out of his waders and lifted him up, and he's a big guy, heavy. And now in Craig's fly tying Liars Club, is Irwin's waders hanging on the wall as a memento of getting stuck. So I went by myself down to Vamo Road with my waders. I've got different ones now. They were the old red ball rubber one piece. And I went in and I got stuck and I went down. I couldn't get up. I went down, I was full of mud, yuck, and I was sinking and I kept trying, so finally grabbed one leg and had to lift it up and grab the next leg.
I saw
And
that
I was
happen
stuck,
to
and
another member.
And then I went the other direction. First time I went south, I said maybe it's better north. I went down again 4 or 5 times, stuck.
And this is you, the same thing?
And I got out, but I said I'll never go to Wade Vamo. It's muck. So the thing is that Patrick, for example, I don't know if you know Patrick or not. He's a super nice guy. But he says, I have a spot, but you need a wading stick to make sure you're not.
Well, sometimes it's the time of year, you know.